Just a quick update on the team score in Class B. Omaha Skutt now has 96.5 to Ogallala's 83.5.
Let's take a look now at the championship matches at 125 pounds in Class A. It'll be Grant Sather of Millard North meeting Peter Isham of Bellevue West. In Class B, Jason Schaulis of Nebraska City facing Dylan Fish of Beatrice. In Class C, DJ Lyon of Rushville taking on Heath Fiala of David City Aquinas. And in Class D, it's Chris Goebbels of Osmond facing Chris Hayes of Amherst. Man, some matches we have here. In Class B, Dylan Fish, a two-time state champion from Beatrice.
Another two-time state champion, Millard North's Grant Sather as well.
And Fish faces Jason Schaulis in Nebraska City, who has beaten him twice. Schaulis has had 2 wins. Fish beat him in the district, so he got his 1 win, but he got the win on penalty points. So that will be a real battle.
Jason Schaulis actually beat the defending state champion Levi Stutzman of Schuyler in the quarterfinals last night, 6-4 in overtime.
And in Class A, of course, Grant Sather, two-time champion, did not wrestle last year due to a suspension, but trying to get his 3rd. And Peter Isham was a state runner-up 2 years in a row. So he has been mighty tough. So I think Class A will be an outstanding match as well.
And again, we got to keep a close eye on Class C match, DJ Lyon of Rushville versus Heath Fiala of David City Aquinas, because this is very important for the team race. A victory by Aquinas would give just a victory, not depending on a major or a pin, but that would give them 4 points. They would take the lead by 1 point in the Class C race.
However, DJ Lyon is unbeaten at 30-0, was second last year at 130 pounds.
And DJ Lyon coming away with a takedown there. Almost had Fiala in trouble. Grant Sather already out to a 2-0 lead in Class A over Peter Isham of Bellevue West. Isham, a 2-time runner-up. I'm sure he'd hope to break that string. He actually lost to Grant Sather in 1996 in the finals, too.
Isham has wrestled most of the year at 130. I think it's interesting he decided to go 125 for the state tournament. It was almost like he wanted to meet Sather again.
Sather, and we've been talking a lot about the different wrestling families that we're seeing. Sather, the stepson of Rick Allgood, one of the coaches at Millard North, and Allgood's sons Todd and Eric were also state champions for them. So another wrestling family. Crowd not happy with the call in Class B. It looked like Schaulis was close to scoring a takedown on Dylan Fish, but not able to come away with it.
It's 2-0 in Class A with Grant Sather leading Peter Isham. In Class C, it's a 2-0 lead for DJ Lyon of Rushville.
DJ Lyon's got a cradle on now. He's going to get near fall points over Heath Fiala. And this is a match where the Stromsburg Osceola fans are probably rooting pretty hard for Rushville, because if he can beat Aquinas, then that takes them out of the team race altogether.
And we're about to get our first points in Class D, as we had a takedown scored.
Chris Goebbels of Osmond.
So Goebbels coming into 34-3, a senior, facing the unbeaten Chris Hayes of Amherst. Hayes, 29-0 junior, had 2 pins and a 7-1 decision. So he has not really had a struggle yet, but he's got his hands full here with Goebbels.
One thing I was really impressed with, a lot of these guys, not only are they good athletes, but great students as well. Chris Hayes of Amherst, a 4.0 GPA, and he's a 3-time state qualifier, but he's never placed down here, and he says the 3rd time's a charm.
Schaulis now has a 2-0 lead over Dylan Fish in Class B. Schaulis of Nebraska City, Fish of Beatrice. Fish, a 2-time state champion, but again has had trouble with Schaulis all year long. And Schaulis leading at 2-0.
And Sather holds on to a 2-0 lead as we're getting ready to start the second period in Class A over Peter Isham of Bellevue West.
It's now that 5-0 lead for DJ Lyon in Class C over Heath Fiala of David City Aquinas. A 2-0 lead for Chris Goebbels of Osmond over Chris Hayes of Amherst in Class D. And in Class B, it's a 2-0 lead for Jason Schaulis in Nebraska City over Dylan Fish of Beatrice as they get ready for their second period. Fish did have a rib injury last night in the semifinals. In fact, he had to crawl off the mat after he was done winning his match. I don't know if that's bothered him today. He didn't think it was, but you never know when you get in a match situation. It's now a 2-1 score in Class D. Chris Goebbels of Osmond leading Chris Hayes of Amherst by just 1 with 15 seconds to go in the first period there.
Peter Isham of Bellevue West in Class A doing a good job of riding Grant Sather. Grant Sather also injured. Millard North, their entire team was pretty beat up coming into the tournament this week, and they knew they were going to struggle against Kearney just because of that, but Kearney really the class of the field. Still 5-0 lead by DJ Lyon of Rushville. His brother MJ was a 2-time state champion for Rushville. DJ placing here twice, 4th in 96, 2nd in 97. He was actually losing 8-2 in the semifinals last night when he pinned Garaki of Tecumseh with 5:22, so about 38 seconds to go in that match, and he came from behind to send himself into the finals. And now he's winning 5-0 in the finals.
Grant Sather leading 3-0 over Peter Isham in Class A. Sather again going for his 3rd straight state title. Did not wrestle last year, or he would have had a chance at 4 state titles.
Jason Schaulis still holding on. He's got a 2-1 lead now over Dylan Fish.
And Isham trying to get the takedown in Class A over Sather. And that would tighten that match up considerably.
He's in on a deep double leg takedown.
We're at 4-2.
And there's a takedown. That makes the score 3-2 now in Class A. Grant Sather still holding on to a lead over Peter Isham, but there's a lot of time left there.
In Class D, it's now 4-2. Chris Goebbels of Osmond leading Chris Hayes of Amherst. Again, Chris Hayes coming in unbeaten. Goebbels coming in at 34-3, and Goebbels won 1-0 in his semifinal, so he had a tight match last night.
These two have met 2 times before. Goebbels coming out on top both times. Both of them have been in the state tournament the last 2 years.
And now Dylan Fish has turned Jason Schaulis on his back, and he's trying to get a pin.
He's got him in trouble.
There's 18 seconds left in the second period. Fish trying to become a 3-time state champion.
Schaulis trying to push off on the face. The official quickly pulling his hand away from Dylan Fish's face.
I don't think he'll get the pin. He doesn't quite have the one shoulder.
There it is.
There it is.
Official Phil Pasali calls the pin with 4 seconds to go in the second period. Dylan Fish comes from behind to pin Jason Schaulis in the Class B state championship at 125 pounds.
Let me tell you, that's a rivalry between those two, to say the least. They have really battled this year, and Dylan Fish, a 3-time state champion. Congratulations.
And Dylan Fish, that's classic Dylan Fish. I've watched him a lot over the last 3 years, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen him come from behind and throw somebody and pin him.
And it's so interesting. I mean, just looking at the two, you can see Schaulis is so strong. And Fish doesn't really look built that well, but he knows his leverage, and he does everything right. He's very quick. Again, 3-2 in Class A. Grant Sather, Millard North leading Peter Isham of Bellevue West.
It looked like we had an escape. An escape by Sather, but a quick takedown by Isham. Now we're tied 4-4 in Class A. Grant Sather and Peter Isham.
In Class C, it's 6-0. DJ Lyon of Rushville leading Heath Fiala of David City Aquinas. In Class D, we're tied at 4-4 now between Chris Goebbels of Osmond and Chris Hayes of Amherst. So those two have tied it up.
We're just getting ready to start the third period in Class A. Again, tied up 4-4. Peter Isham's choice. He's going to take the down position. It looks like Grant Sather's going to cut him loose.
Only 17 seconds remaining in the match in Class C. And we're down to the final seconds in period number 2 in Class D.
And Sather did cut Isham loose in Class A. He now leads 5-4 over Sather. There's a takedown by Heath Fiala of Aquinas, but I'm afraid it's not enough. And that's going to wrap up the team title in Class C for Stromsburg Osceola. Without winning a match, they still end up winning the team title.
So DJ Lyon of Rushville stays unbeaten, 31-0 this year. A runner-up a year ago. He's a state champion this year.
In Class A, we've got 1:48 to go. Peter Isham holding on to a 5-4 lead over 2-time state champ Grant Sather. And we've got injury time over in Class D between Chris Goebbels and Chris Hayes.
Again, Dylan Fish of Beatrice, a 3-time state champion. I'm almost positive that's the first 3-time state champion from that school. And Dylan has just been so fun to watch here at the state tournament, as you mentioned earlier. In Class D, we're still tied at 4-4 as we just head to the third period between Chris Goebbels of Osmond and Chris Hayes of Amherst.
We've got injury time now in Class A both, A and D both. Grant Sather, again, we said he had a shoulder injury coming into the tournament. Was able to squeeze by in the semis last night with a 3-1 score. Doing just enough to get into the finals to try to add to a third state title to his record.
As I mentioned earlier, Peter Isham has wrestled much of the year at 130 pounds and then came down to 125. He was ranked number 2 at 130, and he beat the number 2 ranked wrestler at 125 last night in Jeremy Moore of South Sioux City.
We're getting ready to start the third period in Class D now. Again, all tied up 4-4. Chris Goebbels in the down position. Chris Goebbels of Osmond. He's up on his feet, working to peel the hand, trying to get hand control for the escape. May's trying to get him back down. He's going to get at least an escape here. There's the 1-point escape for Goebbels. He now leads 5-4 over Chris Hayes of Amherst.
It's a 5-4 score in Class A as Peter Isham with a 1-point lead over Grant Sather, but Sather deep on the single leg shot there, try to get the takedown. It looks like Sather's going to get it, and he will, and now we'll take a 1-point lead with 1:07 to go in that match. But immediately Isham comes out with the escape.
Almost
so
a reversal. They ended up out of bounds, but Peter Isham almost able to get a reversal there.
An outstanding match between Isham and Sather.
Now Isham in on a single leg takedown.
A minute to go in that match, and Isham trying to get the takedown, and now has to give it up. As Sather counters nicely, but those two are just wrestling very, very well.
Oh! And there's a throw on the edge by Grant Sather. He's not going to get any near fall, but he did get the takedown. He now leads 8-6 in Class A. Grant Sather.
43 seconds to go in that match. We're tied at 5 in Class D between Goebbels and Hayes. They have had quite a battle. These two guys have really wrestled well.
Down to the final minute in Class D. All tied up 5-5. 8-6 lead in Class A for Grant Sather over Peter Isham. Isham up to his feet. We've got a potentially dangerous situation. They'll go back down.
Again, 53 seconds to go. It's going to be who can finish. And I think Chris Hayes thought he was going to get a double leg there, but they were on the edge of the mat. So these two guys are both good on their feet too. They're both aggressive. They both counter well.
There's a nice shot attempt by Goebbels, but fought off well by Hayes of Amherst.
And now Isham desperately trying to get loose with only 30 seconds to go in that match.
There's locking hands
and an
on
escape.
Sather.
And an escape by Isham. I think that'll tie it up, right?
I'm not sure. Well, I thought I saw the referee signal locking hands. Yes, he did. So locking hands. We're tied up 8-8.
So a lock and a tie-up.
And we've got a takedown by Chris Goebbels of Osmond to take a 7-5 lead with just 20 seconds to go in Class D.
So Goebbels trying to get a state championship at 125 pounds in Class D with 13 seconds to go. And Isham is going to get the takedown.
A big throw by Isham with 15 seconds to go. He's got Sather in trouble. He's going to get the fall. Peter Isham, the upset victor over Grant Sather, the 2-time state champion. Peter Isham, 3-time finalist. The 3rd time was a charm for him.
No more runner-up medals for Peter Isham. What a big win for the young man from Bellevue West. That was an outstanding match. One of the best I've seen in years. And that's the end of the match in Class D. And Chris Goebbels of Osmond, a 7-5 winner over Chris Hayes of Amherst in quite a match. I tell you, it's been a while since I've seen a match as good as the one in Class A. That was outstanding, both from a point perspective and then ending with a pin with very few seconds left. I tell you, Isham can be proud of himself. That was just a tremendous victory. So that weight class proved to be quite exciting. We saw some very good weight, very good matches. And as you mentioned, it appears now that Stromsburg Osceola is going to be the team champion in Class C.
I think we've got all of the team titles probably wrapped up at this point. Again, Stromsburg Osceola in Class C. Omaha Scott, I believe, has enough of a lead now to hold off everybody in Class B. Again, Kearney wrapped it up early, probably yesterday afternoon in Class A, and Hebron wrapped it up last night in the semifinals in Class D.
And as always is the case, Hebron got a lot of help in their consolation wrestlebacks. And that's, I think, a lot of times a lot of team titles are won is the kids that after losing can come back and win a couple matches for you. And that was the case.
And they still got a lot of tough wrestlers coming up here in the final, so they could extend their lead as well.
Let's take a look at the results now. At 125 pounds in Class A, it was Peter Isham of Bellevue West with a pin over Grant Sather of Millard North. In Class B, Dylan Fish of Beatrice becomes a 3-time state champion as he wins by pin over Jason Schaulis of Nebraska City. In Class C, it was DJ Lyon of Rushville with a 6-2 decision over Heath Fiala of David City Aquinas. And in Class D, Chris Goebbels of Osmond, a 7-5 winner over Chris Hayes of Amherst.